Welcome to the discussion of soft markets. In other words, cocoa, sugar, coffee, cotton. This is the Critical Point podcast. It is June 9th. This is a weekly update. It's 8:16 a.m. Central Time, and I'm Rich Posson, and you're looking at a weekly December cocoa chart. And I thought we had a nice negative reversal working here last week, and the market was going to be lower into July. And now the market's showing a little bit of support here this morning. I'm concerned what we're really looking at is a level 3 intra-month kind of swing. They bought, sold, buyers, seller interest, taking care of business during the month. So until it violates the current low of this week at 23.41, there's an actual opportunity to move higher now into the next L3 top. And this is supported well enough to consider the larger trends are actually still up. So what are the larger trends? Well, level 2 trader bought, sold, and is buying, and is going to top out along with the level 1. The level 1 trader just simply bought. They hesitated here, kind of monitored things a bit, tried to buy a little bit of a dip, and then they bought. Bottom line is the market should top for level 2 and level 1 trends next week or the following week, and that looks to be the latest for a level 1 top. Hopefully it'll work out that way. Now, it is possible the market does not take out last week's high, and maybe that's the true level 1. Right at the moment, I'm not concerned which it is. I think I want to give the bulls a chance after all. All right, so now you've at least got to, if you need a wall behind your back, some kind of support level, you got to look at this week's low, realizing I suppose it could just be a trap for a late level 3 bottom, but frankly, I think cocoa is on its way higher. I think it's got it and it's ready to move. Weekly stochastics trying to move up from the mid-range, which can be a secondary buy signal coming up out of that level 2, so it's working well. And it's widening spread, so as long as they want to keep it up for a higher close this week, that suggests chance for lingering momentum into next week, if not the following week. We've seen a little improvement here in open interest, suggesting a bit more net new demand than supply, but it's really nothing robust, nothing great to get excited about, but money has flowed back in the market with a little more bullish bias. Now, once this level 1 top's in place, the market should pull back into a low due July 6th to August 3rd, and these are weeks, okay, weeks of, all right. How much downside? Don't know yet. We'll just have to see how high, but obviously you have to look at these recent lows here on this weekly chart as a potential downside objective, but also potential support, chance for a floor. Violation of those could mean a retest of the low of the year, if not lower. Okay, we just don't know yet. We need to see how this tops out first. Now, how much upside? Well, normally I don't use the time objective here for a top as a price objective, but this morning I have. This is the minimum upside objective right at the moment, right around 24.45. And the next range for the critical point is around 24.80s to 24.90s. And then we have these old potential objectives here all the way up into the 25.80s or 25.90s, okay? Don't know how robust this will be. Maybe this can suddenly surge and get excited. My thoughts is it's just going to move up some, and then it's moving lower into that level 1 low. No fresh news for you. So here's the coffee chart, and the market's trying to pick its head up. I don't think it can do it. I think it's got to go lower into the level 1, okay? And even though I'm showing dramatically lower, say around 95, 98 to around 87.52 or something like that, the thing is, it's quite oversold. The stochastics trying to roll to a buy signal. We have to be cautious that all this analysis is wrong. It's not going lower. It's found some kind of a floor price. But is it time to rally into August, which will eventually occur? I think it will be higher by August for a level 2 top. But right at the moment, I'm a little concerned it may, if it didn't put a level 1 top here, it's going to put the level 1 top in this week or next. I think this is no more than a little knee-jerk reaction for level 3 intra-month kind of stuff, and then it's got to go down one more time. I'd like to see it test this recent low. So don't know as I really want to be all that bearish here, okay? But I want to give it some time. I don't think it's ready for any kind of a sustainable rally. And by the way, I'm going to try to get back into the habit of showing you farther out objectives. In other words, okay, the model's not really, or technicals won't give us any kind of a price objective in August, but the point is I should put a level 2 there, put a level 2 here, and go out as far as I can to give you a general idea of how the market was zigzagged from a time perspective, not necessarily a price perspective. And because the farther out you go, the more inaccurate price objectives work, okay, for all forms of analysis. The interesting thing, though, is it's surprising how you can actually come up with time objectives that are quite accurate relative to price objectives when you go way out. So in other words, I'll try to provide more information for you of how things can fluctuate in the future. At any rate, don't have much else to say on coffee. I feel like it should go lower. The oversold condition worries me a bit. So be cautious if you're a bear, okay? I'd like to get a little more out of it. Not so sure I'd be willing to sell here or sell more. Okay, this is the cotton market. And look at this. It rallied right into the first week for level 1 top. However, it could stay up into early July. Similar to stock market, by the way, okay? And the stock market is due to pull back. Maybe we'll see some kind of correlation there. Maybe we're going to get a fundamental development that's macro that goes along with some macro weakness and just scares people. Anyways, look at this weekly stochastic. Overbought, folks. Got to keep an eye on that. It is overbought. It's narrowing the spread. Warning of chance that it's getting sensitive to a decline. Could be setting up for a sell signal. And lo and behold, the model, which is not using this stochastic, an expanded model is, but the core model is not using that, and the core model is saying, yes, look for a top, and here's the technical saying, yep, look for a top, a trader's top, okay? We've seen a rise in open interest, so money has flowed back into the market. It's been primarily net new demand. That's a positive, but this is not a robust change in open interest, in my opinion. It's almost like the market is just doing business with minimum amount of business, okay? Or the standard trading a crowd, which makes me concerned this is nothing but a retracement of this bear market. So I think this is going to work. It's going to top for level 1. It's going down to a level 2 bottom due week of July 22nd. So they may only need to sell for a couple of weeks. And then they're saying, I'm done. I've sold enough. You got to give me a better price. And the buyer may still need, and up it goes. But the point is, it can stay down into the week of July 20th, okay? That's quite a bit of time, and the more time you have, a good rule of thumb is the larger the trend, the more time you have, then the greater the price change. Doesn't always work that way, but that's a good rule of thumb. Don't have a lot here for downside objectives for you, but I think the support has moved up to these recent highs to around 1121. So we can certainly get sugar. Hopefully I didn't call this cotton because I had that on my mind. But sugar should do a retracement here. Okay. So now the point is it's working on negative reversal this week. Is this the sell signal? And I don't know for sure, okay? I don't know how aggressive I want to be, and I'm not seeing enough fundamental information. So you may want to get out there, revalue or value what's going on in the fundamental. Can it support selling now? And watch your technicals and watch what the funds are doing. I just don't know, but I'm kind of thinking if it wants to close lower this week, we should call level 1 top and err on the side that nobody knows for sure. The market may change its mind. It may only be a level 3 pullback, and it just pops right up again. Okay. I will say a level 3 low is due this week to early next. So this may well be just no more than a level 3 pullback, and it's going to move higher. It's in the better objective range I've shown here. May still pop up to 1240 or something like that. Watch your Fibonacci retracements. You will have to do those on your own because my Fibonacci has been altered, reprogrammed to go with the critical point. It's kind of a nuisance to flip back. Watch your 50% retracement, which kind of eyeballing it subjectively kind of looks like it's there. And here it is overbought. I say it's time to look for reasons to be bearish sugar. It could retrace 50% of this up move or more and do it in the next 3 to 4 weeks. All right, here's the cotton market. It's in the time frame for a level 1 top. I'm not convinced the model's got this timed correctly. I'm a little concerned this is no more than a level 3 pullback, and they're going to pop it a bit next week, which if it topped next week would be ideal according to what this forecast is showing us. I'm a little concerned it could take another week, even 2 weeks, to find that level 1 top. Okay. On the other hand, it's met the minimum number of weeks. But it just hasn't got the right internal structure there. I'm not convinced the money flow is done buying. So I don't know what to make with this. So be a little bit cautious, but just realize it's in the time frame for a top. The weekly stochastic has not moved to a new high, so it's saying this rally isn't that strong. And it's narrow spread, so it wouldn't take much downside to roll this over to a sell signal. You may want to, if you can be patient enough and miss out of some, you may want to wait to see if we actually get a sell signal on the weekly indicator or a sharply lower weekly close, or it takes a little bit, give it a few to several days to see if they actually sell it. Depends how much you're willing to miss out of to increase the odds you got it right, okay? Now, the open interest did recently increase here, suggesting a little net new demand, but nothing great, nothing spectacular, and it almost looks like we had a bit more short covering last week than actual demand. I think this thing is really close to a top, just not convinced it's there. And I'll try to watch out and see if I can come up with some ideas for alerts, but you may want to flip to a daily chart and see what you want to work with here. You do want to consider, we still have outstanding objectives around 61.50 to getting close to 63. Consider the rule of thumb of a 50% retracement. Run your Fibonacci's there. Now, basically, it hasn't set up a time zone here, and I'll get to work on that. It should be doing that. We are looking for a setback into a low due sometime in July. Very similar to the stock market, very similar to a variety of other commodities. A little concerned there's going to be some across-the-board shifting here, at least in the funds, the speculative side, okay, where they want to sell. Okay, so I just made a note for myself. I paused the video here so I could reevaluate what's going on daily. I've really thought this. If it looks as though we can find a level 1 top in place, risk of being early, I've gone ahead and called the level 1 top in place. Best I could tell you is I get stopped out with a new high for the move, going to have to start over. But I'm willing to take that chance that there's a level 1 top here. Again, it's early. It's lacking a few things. It's not an ideal top, but it has met minimum requirements better than I thought. The model might be on top of this better than I was thinking. I'm also going to go back to the sugar chart and make a note to me as for calling a top there as well. And so I've added a signal there, and we'll go ahead and see if we can work with this negative reversal. Okay, so there's so this video turned out to have some alerts in it as well. Okay, that's it for this week. If I see anything else, I'll try to update you as quick as possible. Don't be afraid to email me here. Comments, suggestions, questions. All right, thank you, and manage your risk relative to analysis of others.